Hello everyone, this is Mayank Kushwaha from Department of Mechanical Engineering, ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. And today we are going to talk about the introduction part of kinematics of machines, which is a very important subject in mechanical engineering for the design point of view. Uh, so for that, the introduction part, I have prepared a PPT and we'll be talking about this subject, the introduction part or the basics part of this subject with the help of that PPT. So let us just move on to that PPT and then we'll be talking about this the introduction part. So kinematics of machines is what we are going to talk today. So let me just start with the kinematics of machines. So just to define the machine first, kinematics is we come across these called this term machine in every day from day to day life. So let me just try to define this thing. A device which can be used for transferring or transforming motion and force from the input to the source, or with the help of, or from one energy to the some kind of another energy, is called a machine. So that is a general definition of the machine. And if you want to define it from this theory of machine subject point of view, then it can be defined as a machine may be considered as a mechanism or a combination of mechanisms having combinations of interconnected rigid bodies capable of constrained relative motion. Like let us take an example of a plier. So in case of plier, there is only two part which is connected with the help of a pin. So that is the example of a machine as a single mechanism. And in case of automobile, you have already seen that there are a lot of components are attached uh, to give a particular motion to the vehicle. Then it is an example of multiple mechanisms, combination of multiple mechanisms. So that is a formal definition of machines. Now, in the definition of the machine, you must have come across a new word, this rigid bodies. So let us now try to define this rigid bodies. So rigid bodies, as its name implies, that a body which do not deform under the application of force. That means some kind of plastic deformation does not take place in the body while the movement. Like, for example, like the wheels. You do not want the wheel of your car to bend while moving on the road. So that is an example of rigid bodies. The next thing which you have noticed in the definition of the topic is kinematics. So kinematics is a part of science in which we just study the motion of different parts, irrespective of the cause of those motions. So this kinematics of machine is actually a part of the subject theory of machines. The another part in the theory of machine is dynamics of machines, in which we study the synthesis part of the machines. Right. So in this subject, kinematics of machines, we are just concerned with the relative motions of the parts which is connected with each other. Now, the most important term which is related to this kinematics of machines part is link, which you will come across again and again in the entire syllabus. So link is any body, rigid or resistant, or a combination of resistant bodies which are used for transferring the motion from one part to the other. There are different type of link. It can like singular, binary, and ternary. The examples are also shown in the on the bottom side of the slide. Binary, ternary, and quaternary. This difference is actually with the help of the number of connections which can be made to this link. So if a link has two ends which can be connected to some other different parts, then it is a binary link. And if it has options for three combinations, then it is a ternary link. Now the next thing is kinematic pair. Pair, as the name itself implies, it's a combination of two or more things. So in the case of kinematics pairs, it is a combination of or interconnection of two or more than to links. The detailed study of kinematic space is quite essential because we can see that in day-to-day life there are hardly few components or few products which are single piece products. So in general, all the machines or all the components we use in real life are a combination of multiple links. So that's why we must be familiar with this kinematic pair kind of thing. Now, degree of freedom is not something new. We are studying this thing from our school level physics. So let me just try to recall the definition. So degree of freedom can be defined as the number of independent variables that are needed to describe the relative movement or the state of a body. Right. So it is the minimum number of variables. So if there is only one variable which can define the entire state of the body, then it is degree of freedom. So we also know that that a body which is free in space has a 6 degree of freedom. Right. So next is a different type of kinematic pairs. As I said that study of kinematic pair is of utmost importance in kinematics of machines. So there is some kind of classification is also there. This can be classified into lower pairs, higher pairs, and wrapping pairs, depending on the contact type of contact between the two components. So when the type of contact is surface to surface, it is known as lower pairs, and it is point or line. When the contact is along the line or at a point, then it is higher pair. Wrapping pair is called when this contact between the two surfaces is for a limited time period, as in case of belt and pulley, as you have seen, when the contact is only during the angle of wrap. Similarly, form closed and force closed are also the example of are also the classification of kinematic pairs. So in the next slide, let us see different type of examples of different pairs. So in this slide, you can see that there are 9 figures in which L and H is mentioned. So L stands for lower pairs and H stands for higher pair. Right. In this case, you can see this. Whenever there is a surface contact, either in case of here prismatic one or revolute one, there is a surface to surface contact between the groove and this object, which is moving in one direction only. Similarly, in the revolute one case, uh, this body is revolving around this bottom plate with the help of pin joint. So there is a pin joint. So there is a surface contact between the pin and this body. So there is it is an example of lower pair. Similarly, in this fourth figure, you can see that two cylinders are rolling over each other. So there will be a line contact only. So it is an example of lower higher pair, which you must have seen this example in case of rolling machines. Similarly, the cylindrical pair, here again the surface to surface contact. So it is an example of lower pairs. Now a spherical joint, you must have seen this spherical joint in case of gear lever of a vehicle. So again, example of lower pairs, and these are. So carefully look at all these figures, and you will get to know the different examples of lower and higher pairs. Now, link and kinematic chain. So we have already defined link, and now let's try to talk about kinematic chain. So chain, as the name implies, it's a combination of link or the parts where one part is connected to another and the last part is connected to the first one. Then that forms a closed chain, right? So here also we have the same meaning of this chain part, whereas kinematics means some kind of movements must be there. So chain can be something like truss in which the bodies are interconnected in such a way that though no relative motion is taking place. But in case of kinematic chain, if you give some kind of input to one part, then it must be able to transfer the same to the next part. So that is what we call a kinematic chain. The another very important type is joints. So joint is nothing but a combination of two links. The point where the two or more than two links are connected, then it is called a joint. So as you can see here, these are of three types: so binary, ternary, and quaternary. If two links are joined at a particular junction, it's a binary. Similarly, three links, ternary, and for quaternary, it is the combination of four links. In the figure, you can see that this point there are two links, one and two are connected, so it's a binary joint. Here it is one, two, and three links are connected, so it's a ternary joint. So B stands for binary, T stands for ternary, and Q stands for quaternary. So that's all about this introduction part. If you have any queries, then you can post it to the channel. Thank you so much.